Alright guys, this is the 6th video of the Golang and JWT Authentication tutorial series, and we have about, I think, just 2 functions to go, and then we're done, I think. And then we'll have to do a lot of testing. So come back to your user router file, and here this authentication function, it should be in the middleware, right? So let's go to our middleware and let's open our auth middleware.go file. Right now it's empty, and now we have to start writing some code for the authenticate function. All right, so let's say package middleware import fmt net/http, and we need the helper. So for the helper is basically this file, this package, right? So we'll say Golang JWT project /helpers, and then obviously we need github.com/Gin-Gonic/Gin, and now let's start writing our function. So we'll say func authenticate gin.handler func. This will return a function which takes C and gin dot context. We get our client token, C dot request dot header dot get token. This function basically is taking the token from your header. So whenever, let's say, you call any user routes, right? These user routes, the /users and /user by ID, these routes are predicted. These routes are predicted and private routes, you can say. And before these routes are called, you will have to authenticate it. So that's why we're using a middleware. So for all incoming routes, you're using a middleware first, which ensures that everything is authenticated, all the requests are authenticated. Only then you can call these APIs, right? I thought I'll just explain to you in case it's not clear. And like this, so the auth routes like sign up and login can't be protected routes, because obviously you'll need these to be public, right? So that anybody can access them. But these routes, the user routes, can't be public, because only the people who have the token can access them. So similarly, if you create more routes like order and products and all those routes, all of them will be protected again, right? So coming back to our auth middleware, here we'll check if the client token is empty. Then we'll say c.json http.status internal server error gin.h error, and for the error we'll say fmt.sprintf no authorization header provided. All right. And I think it's safe to also put c.abort here to abort operations and return. And after this bracket, like this is again the part of the return func. So after this bracket, the client token bracket, you start writing helper dot validate token. Now this is the function that we need to work on, right? This is the function that will go in, I think, our token helper, and this will help us validate our token. So here we'll pass the client token that the client has that the user has passed us to check if this token is in fact valid. And here we'll get the claims, ARR So claims are all that information, right, that you get from inside the token. So I think let's work on this function and then proceed further. Otherwise, things might get confusing for you. Okay. So save whatever we have till now, and then let's go to our token helper. And in our token helper, we have the we'll have to create now the validate token file, the function. So here in your token helper, let's start writing our func validate token, and this gets a signed token, right, which is of type string, returns the claims. The claims are of type signed details, right? So all this information is going to be returned from here, like the email, first name, last name, all those things. So that's why we'll say here star signed details, comma MSG and string. Awesome. And here we'll say JWT dot parse with claims. So this is an internal JWT function, and we'll capture this in token and error, and we'll send the signed token and a reference to signed details, and a function which takes in the token, returns an interface and an error, and this returns if you have the secret key, and null here. So this function is going to process all of this, your secret key, your signed details, and your signed token, all of that, and then it's going to return the token basically. After this, you'll just check for the error. So you'll say if error is not equal to nil, you'll say message is equal to error dot error, and you'll return from here. Now let's say token dot claims dot signed details, and we'll say claims, comma okay, and now we'll check if if the token is okay or not. So we'll say if not okay, then the message will be fmt dot sprintf, the token is invalid. So if somebody is trying to send a wrong token to access those routes, we'll say the token is invalid, okay, because the signed details are not the same. And msg is equal to error dot error, we'll send the error also, and then we'll return from here. Now there's one more conditional check that we can do. This is usually a good practice, and you can include it right now, otherwise you can skip it if you want. We also want to check the expiration date of the token. So if it's so now if you're sending an expired token, then we should not allow the user to sign in, right? So let's do that also. So we'll say claims dot expires at. Claims as a word might sound confusing to you at sometimes. Claims is basically all the information that the user has in his token. So here we'll say local dot unix, and msg is equal to fmt dot sprintf, token is expired. MSG is equal to error dot error, and return from this function. You already know what we're returning. We're returning the claims and MSG, the message that we have been formatting till now, right, with the errors. So that's what this function does. All right, so now that our validate token function is done, that which validates basically the token is all right or not, let's head back to our auth middleware, and after we have called this function, we'll handle the error. So we'll say if error not equal to empty. That means if there's an error, so we'll have to say c.json http dot status internal server error, gin.h error is error. Again, we'll say c.abort and we'll return from here. Cool. Sorry, by mistake I've written it here inside c.abort. It needs to be after c.abort, and we'll return from here. And what we'll do now is we'll set the email with claims.email. So we're setting our context with all these details, all right? And we'll set the context with first name claims dot first name last name, comma claims dot last name UID, comma claims dot UID user type, comma claims dot user underscore type c dot next. All right, so this completes I think all of our code. Now let's go to a terminal. I'll just increase the font size. Let me open up a new window of the terminal and increase the font size. I think now you can see it. So here I'll go to the location of the project. Golang JWT project. This project, yeah. I'll have to run go mod tidy because we have included a lot of packages that we didn't install. So we're just running this command that automatically checks our project for all the packages that are not there but we have included, and it gets all of them for us. All right, now is the time to run the project, and then we'll get a lot of errors. So let's get all the errors and then let's go through them one by one. So we'll say go run main.go. As you can see, a lot of errors have started. So right now it's showing only one error, but once we solve it, then we'll see all the other errors. All right, so let's go through them one by. Let's start solving them. The first error that we got was saying that in our main file, the routes is not in the root, in Go root, right? So now that I realize that the project that I've built right now, the complete project, is not in Go root, right? I've not done that. So it's in a different file. It's in a different folder altogether. So that's why we'll have to, when we initialize our project, the complete path that we gave it, we'll have to give it the complete path. And we'll have to do this everywhere, wherever we're including all the files in our other files, right? So we'll just copy and paste this. Let's go through files one by one, starting from user controller. So here we're getting the helpers. So let's add that. And we're getting the models. And now let's take a look at our database connection. Everything good here. auth helper, token helper. Yeah, so we're referencing database here, so we'll have to add this as well. So if you're having the same error that I did, if you in case you're not you're not having this project in your go root folder where your go root is configured, then you'll have to do the exact same things that I'm doing right now. But if in case you're at the right place, then you don't have to worry at all. You won't get this error in the first place. All right. Controllers. Middleware and controller and main.go. So I've included that everywhere. So now what we'll do is we'll try to run main.go again. So that's saying there's a problem with the database connection. This package is also not in the go root. So it says go/MongoDB blah 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 is not in go root. Now if you go to this file, right, database connection.go11, you're here. Now you can see obviously there's a mistake here, that it should have been go dot and not go slash. Now if you run the program again, this error won't be there, but you'll get some new errors. So the new errors are cannot refer to unexported file name mongo.client. All right. So it's on the same, it's in the same file, line 38. So now let's go check it out. As you can see here, the error is very easy to debug. It's basically, it should have been a capital C. So now let's run the program again and see if there are more errors. So yes, now we're on the right track. We have so many more errors. Now let's start finding these. So the first one says that on line 14 of usercontroller.go, you have redeclared a package. So on usercontroller.go, line 14, yes, very accurate. You know, we have already imported helpers. We're importing it again, so that's wrong. All right, so that's taken care of. Now line 72. Actually, what I'll do is I'll Control Z here, because if I remove this line right now, all the other lines, you know, they'll lose their numbers and it'll be very difficult to debug. So I'll just comment it out for now, and then I'll remove it when all the errors are done. So let's go to line 72. It says no new variables here. So line 72, it says no new variables here. Yes, because we've already used count and we're using the walrus operator here. We'll have to remove that, use the regular is equal to, because we've already defined count. So that's also taken care of. Now the thing is, with Node.js, I never do this. So I always, you know, make sure that I'm not making a lot of errors while writing the code. But with Golang, I don't do that. I just write everything. You know, even if it's a huge project, I just write all of the code at once and then I start debugging. The reason for that is that Golang is so accurate with the errors. It's telling you the exact line and where the error could be and the exact error. You don't get that with JavaScript at all. Like it might tell you there's an error there, but it won't tell you why the error is there and what's the error exactly. You know, the error could be something else and you might be getting some other issue. So, but here with Golang, you get like very, very specific errors. All right. So I'm very confident in just writing everything in one go and then debugging at the end. Like it doesn't bother me at all. I know if somebody coming from a JavaScript background, it might be like, you know, it might make you nervous that why are you writing so much code and then debugging everything at the end. But then once you start using Golang, you'll get used to this. Trust me. And then then let's go to line number 87. Okay, so now here on line number 87, it's saying unexpected star and comma expecting name or something like that, right? So that means there's a problem here somewhere. And yeah, I can see the problem here. Instead of this dot, it should have been a comma. So that's taken care of. On line 146, it's saying there's an error on line 146. So it's saying on line 146, there's some issue. All right, what's the issue? Unexpected new line, expecting a comma or something like that. All right. Yeah, so I can see the issue. The issue is that I should have had if error is equal to or something like that, right? Now hopefully we won't have the error now. Okay, so that's taken care of. And then now 147 we're returning from this. And now because you know, we hadn't written if error is equal to, that's why probably there's an error on 147. So we'll ignore this one for now, all right, because I think it was because of this issue the error was given error out here as well. Now let's go to 167. So 167, it's saying, so these are all syntax errors now. So it's saying unexpected new line, expecting comma or something like that. So here you can either put a comma here, or you can just bring these brackets up here. But what I will do is I won't put the brackets up here yet. I'll just see where else the issues are. So 174, 177, 189, 174, okay, 177 and 189. So let's start from here instead. 177, 174, and now this. Now hopefully we shouldn't get those errors. And let's try running go. So now you get another set of errors, which is nice. You know, you get these errors so you sort out some errors and then you get some more errors. So that way it's, you know, it doesn't overwhelm you completely. So let's go through the errors one by one. All of them are in the user controller file. We're in the user controller file, and here on line 22 it says undefined database. On line 22 it says undefined database. Okay, so why could it be? That could be because we probably haven't imported database here. So here we'll make it database, and we'll remove the comments so that error is taken care of. On line 27 it says error is not defined. All right, and that's because we have to say, so we have to get the value that comes here in bytes, and then we have to get an error. Only then we'll have the error defined. And bytes also, I think, will now be defined, which was an error as well. Now line 98 says status OK is not defined. That's because I've written small k here. It should have been capital K. Line 177, csc.json is not a type. That's because I've used curly braces here. I should have used round brackets. And on line 180 it says all users not defined. All right, so I have an all users defined here, and here I'm using all users with a small u, whereas here I've defined users with this big capital U. So I will fix that. And on 202 you have status OK. Again, I've made the same mistake. Should have been capital K. All right, so we have fixed all of these errors now, and all of these errors also, as you know, we have fixed, and we have fixed all the other errors. But now I have a feeling that there are so many more. All right, now we have to fix an error in our routes file. So auth router line number 8. Let's head over there. Auth router line number 8. So here, what is it saying? It's saying unexpected start, expecting comma or something like that. Okay, why would it say that? Auth routes, incoming routes. Okay, incoming routes should have been one word, my bad. Now let's run it again. Okay, some more errors. Undefined port in main.go file. So we'll have to fix this port issue in main.go file. And yeah, so I can see what the issue is. We're not using the go.env package, so we'll have to install that, and we'll have to first load the go.env file, right? So this is the same code from your database connection.go file. So just go to database connection.go and copy this part, right, where you load the .env file in the first place, and then you can access your port. While accessing your port, you'll have to use the walrus operator because port has not been defined before that. So now you should not get that error. But then we have another error called log. There's an issue with log on line 14. Log, right? So that means there's no log that we have. We'll have to import log, and we'll have to also import fmt, I guess. I don't think so. Anyhow, so log is enough here. Now let's try running it again. Okay, so now it's running. Everything seems to be working fine. So let's open up our Postman. So back in our Postman, in our sign up, localhost 9000 user /sign up, this route that we just created, I'll just change my email address and put something random here, so that, and I'll just put some random numbers in my phone number, because we have validation on email and phone number, right? When you send this, saying could not get response. So there seems to be some error here. So let's try and fix those errors. So we'll have to take a look at our code, but firstly let's try and understand the error. So it says undefined validation function min on field first name. So let's go to the code. Here in our user model file, validate required min to max 2. Now there's one error, one possible issue that could be because of which this issue is happening, is that there are spaces here, right? So if we remove the spaces, then I think the error should go away, because the validator, the external package that we are using, is not able to process the spaces. So the validator package that we're using needs to look at all this data and then determine how to handle this data. So this is what I think is the issue. And now let's stop this, start the server again, and let's try sending the request. As you can see, the request worked perfectly fine and we got the inserted ID. Alright, now let's try logging in. So to log in, we need this email and this password, right? This email and then we need the password. Now there can be more issues with the login route, so that's why we're testing every single route to ensure that we don't have any errors anywhere. So let's try logging in. So it's logging in, it's giving us the token. That means there is no error or issues with the login route, which is amazing, because that's where most of the issues usually stay, the login route. So auth, now we have to change our token here in our /users route, and let's send it. So we're getting the list of all the users, because when I signed up, I was an admin. So just after I've signed up as an admin, I can get the count of the total users, and I can get all of the users. And now we can work on getting just one user by ID. So if I just select this ID here, and paste it here. Now you must remember that you also need the token. So copy this token and paste it here, send it, so you can get the user by ID as well. So all of our routes are working, the program is working completely fine. We're getting these nice logs as well to debug and to know, you know, which all API was hit. You have the method also of the request. So everything is working fine. We've completed the project. Finally, it's done, it's complete, and now we can go back to our React to-do and React chat projects. I was just doing this so that because many people had requested that, you know, they want to see how authentication works in Golang, because my other projects with React didn't have any authentication. So I thought, you know, why not show this first and then continue the React to-do and React chat projects. But I didn't know that it'll stretch for so long, right? Even after making 30 to 40 minutes videos, it was just not, just not getting over. But now it's over finally. You can use this code in any of your other projects. Feel free to do that. Thank you for watching, and do subscribe to this channel so that you can, get such awesome content later on. And I'll see you in the next episode.